So WWE Survivor Series 2024 War Games is now officially over, and this was a mixed bag pay-per-view. I think it lies on the good side rather than the bad side. Don't get me wrong. I think it still ended up being a very good pay-per-view. A little bit of a mixed bag. But a few shocking moments, a few excellent matches, one maybe not so good match, and look, I think I may be being a bit harsh. I think this was a very good pay-per-view. Okay. Now that I'm looking at the matches running down, there was only one match that really disappointed. And that was the very first match that we're going to look at, which was the women's War Games match. Now, going into this match, I had already given my thoughts and feelings about this match. I thought it was forced. I thought there was no story going into it. There was no need for a War Games match. And it proved me right. There was no intensity other than from Rhea Ripley. And funny enough, Rhea Ripley is the only one with a real storyline. So that kind of makes sense. This match was sloppy from, I'd say, for about 85% of this match. It was not good. Not good. The first 85%. So Nia Jax starting off, big mistake. I thought as soon as I saw she was starting the match, I was like, really? Nia Jax of all people? Surely you put out Candice LeRae. Surely you put out whoever else. I mean, Raquel Rodriguez, someone who can actually carry that first 5 minutes where all eyes on you and then carry the rest of the match. I thought Nia Jax could have been better suited coming in when people are a bit more tired and she could be dominant in that sense. But she just lacked any sort of enthusiasm, any sort of dominance, any sort of explosiveness. All of that was just not there at all. So I really did not enjoy Nia Jax in this match. And a couple other people also disappointed, to be honest. So it wasn't all just on Nia Jax in this case. Why was there a toilet seat in this match? What was the need for a toilet seat? And why was Naomi still wearing her party hat in the ring? Like, I get it was her birthday, but take the thing off. That's just a couple things. Io Sky unfortunately missed a sunset power bomb when she was climbing down the cage, or when Candice LeRae was pulling her down the cage. That was a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. There was a time I thought Bailey was injured in the match, but I seems like she was okay and rather just selling. So good on her for that selling, And then Raquel pulled out a table and didn't put it in the ring. And it's not like she sold that, I'm not going to bring a table in and get some heat that way. Like take it out and then put it back. She didn't do that either. That table eventually made its way into the ring, but that was a little bit confusing. So there was just miscommunication throughout the whole match. The chair shots, I'm sorry, but we all know some female wrestlers struggle with the chair shots, struggle with hitting chair shots. And that is not a shot at them or anything. That is just the chairs are big and clunky. Whereas kendo sticks are 1,000 times better for the female wrestlers. So I would say just try not to use chairs at all, because most of the chair shots that they hit were just not a good look at all. And that is nothing against the women wrestlers. They can usually work fantastic matches, but on this night it just didn't happen. The last little bit, once Rhea came in and Liv came in, the sequences were flowing. And that really started getting good. I think we saw Nia Jax end up through a powerbomb through a table by Bailey and Naomi. And then obviously to end the match, after Liv Morgan came in, by the way, with a baseball bat and literally swung that thing. And that looked pretty good compared to some of the chair shots. Anyway, she then got put through a table by Rhea Ripley with the Riptide. 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley's team won. I'm not sure they should have won in the first place. I said in my prediction, and the boys agreed with me, that it should have been a heel team to win, or the heel team to win, because both world champions are on their team. Both world champions and Miss Money in the Bank are on their team. So I do think they should have won at the end of the day, but I guess they're continuing a story with Rhea and Liv. Obviously, unfortunately, that story is continuing, but anyway. So I kind of understand why Rhea got the pin over Liv. But does she then get the pin again at some stage and actually win the title? I don't know. I don't know if that was the right move then. You're definitely starting to make Liv look even more weak than what she already looked, unfortunately. So, yeah, I do think this match underdelivered, was underwhelming for at least 85% of it. I don't know what it was, eh? Maybe it's just the lack of intensity, the lack of story that just made everything that didn't look good. It just exemplified everything. Because there's moments that don't look good in other matches, but the story and the aggression kind of gets you through that. But anyway, let's move on from this match. I don't want to hate on it too much. The final sequences were very, very good, and it kind of saved the match a little bit. But then we moved on to LA Knight taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, and I said in my predictions, my heart says Shinsuke. I would love for Shinsuke to win, but LA Knight's going to do it. Turns out I should have listened to my heart, because Shinsuke Nakamura did the unthinkable and defeated LA Knight, and we have a new United States champion. And I've seen this be a mixed bag on Twitter, a complete mixed bag. And some people are like, why Shinsuke? It should have been Melo or Andrade. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I would have liked for Melo or Andrade to win it. But at the same time, I do think Shinsuke is someone that they can beat. I don't think they wanted LA Knight to be beaten by one of them. I don't know for what reason. Perhaps, I don't know, perhaps because Andrade is a face. So they wanted a heel to Andrade to. Perhaps they want Andrade to beat Shinsuke and then Melo to eventually beat Andrade in game 8, essentially. I wonder if that's the way they want to go, and obviously that couldn't happen because then you'd have Andrade beat LA Knight, face versus face. It just doesn't work. They had the match, I know they had the match, but in terms of winning the title, it doesn't work. But anyway, this match was okay. This also, if it wasn't for the shock moment of Shinsuke Nakamura winning, would have been something I could have seen on SmackDown, honestly. LA Knight, for me, I know I was on board with LA Knight because there'll be videos from the past of me talking about LA Knight. Sorry for my hair flopping around. It's literally 10 to 5 in the morning here. But anyway, there was videos of me talking about LA Knight should win this, LA Knight should win that. And yeah, I was on board with him. But his character has not changed in these 2 years. His catchphrase is all the same. Everything about him is the same, and he's not evolved in any way, in my opinion. At all. He has not evolved, not one single bit. And that is probably the reason why I've grown less fond of him. And I do think his matches are underwhelming at times, unless it's with someone like AJ Styles at WrestleMania, which I doubted that match and turned out to be very good. So situations like that, But Shinsuke won. I'm happy about it. Like I said, it's divided on who's happy, who's not. I think there's a greater story to be told here. And I think Melo and Andrade will see their flowers for their hard work at some point, just not right now. And Shinsuke, we can't bury the man. He is Shinsuke Nakamura at the end of the day. Yes, he doesn't have the star power he had when he first came in, but he is Shinsuke at the end of the day. We then had Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser in a triple threat match, and then also Bron Breakker, the champion, of course, for the IC title. Bron Breakker retained his IC championship in what was predictable, but they building something here. And we mentioned it in our predictions video, they building Sheamus to take that title. Because they literally blue-balled, excuse my language, but they blue-balled us with that Sheamus win because he had it. He had it with a bro kick. I thought it was going to be 1, 2, 3. But no, Ludwig Kaiser pulls the ref out of the ring, stops the count. And I was like, oh, we were so close. So that definitely tells me they've got something in plan. They got something planned for Sheamus and Bron Breakker down the line. But at first, we're going to have Ludwig and Sheamus carry on out their story and finish that up. But very, very, very good match. Hard hitting. Exactly what you'd expect from these guys. Hard hitting, technical, fast paced, explosive. Everything you'd expect, we got. Very, very good match. And up to this point, easily match of the night. But it didn't keep its spot. And it's not what you think took its spot, because I think it actually dropped down to the third best match of the night. Because after this, we then had Damian Priest and Gunther take on each other. And I thought, okay, another hard-hitting affair like we got the first time round. This is going to be fantastic because the first match was very, very good. At Bad Blood, I think it was. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. But we got a slightly different match. We got straight to the basics, technical. When I say technical, I don't mean Bryan Danielson technical. I mean technical as in good old-fashioned, hard-hitting wrestling with some holds, with some good ring psychology when it comes to Damian Priest selling his shoulder and then Gunther straight up targeting that shoulder. This was fantastic. And I mean it honestly. This was really, really, really good. I enjoyed it. The basics that they went to made the match, gave it a different dynamic to the first match, which I appreciate. I appreciate it when wrestlers don't do the same thing over and over and over when they wrestle each other. They wrestled a different match, and of course, Gunther can wrestle that style of match. And Damian Priest, when it comes to pay-per-views, he's on it. He's on it when it comes to, not saying on Raw he's not on it, because he's still decent on Raw, but when it comes to pay-per-views, he does not disappoint. And I know there's people that don't like Damian Priest for whatever reason. I don't understand it. But for me, he is one of the top guys right now. And I'm enjoying his work so much. I just didn't like one thing about this match, and I don't like one thing about Damian Priest right now. And that is the fact that he's still stuck fighting with Finn Balor. Finn Balor got himself involved once again. I think he just does not want to see Damian Priest hold the world title again. I think that's the whole point of the story that's going to come out now, because I thought we were basically going to be done with this, but nope. Damian Priest takes a tumble to the outside. Finn Balor comes out of nowhere while the ref is busy with Gunther. Double stomp. Gunther comes out, takes out Finn Balor, puts Damian Priest in, powerbomb, locks him in some sort of like a sleeper hold, but with the shoulder like locked in as well, I assume just to target the shoulder. Damian Priest goes to sleep, and Gunther wins and retains his title. But I do not want to see Damian Priest and Finn Balor again. We don't need that. We don't need Damian Priest and Finn Balor again. We needed Damian Priest to move on to people like, I don't know, a Drew McIntyre. Like, whoever else is on the card, There's people out there. I wanted that, but I guess not. I guess it's not the time. We're going to continue with Finn Balor. They're obviously going to draw that all the way out to WrestleMania, I assume, or even maybe just Royal Rumble or Saturday Night's main event. I don't know, actually. I don't know how long Triple H wants to draw this out for. But we then moved on to the War Games match, and this was also good old-fashioned, proper in-ring psychology, basics wrestling, with the aspect of the War Games. Because, yes, weapons were involved. There was, I think, steel chairs, there was a toolbox by Punk, and there was tables. So yes, a lot of weapons were used, but we didn't get toilet seats. We didn't get colorful canes, I forgot what you call them, and I mentioned them earlier. We didn't get silly trash cans, and we didn't get all the weapons. We got the basics, and that allowed them to actually just wrestle. So we started off with Jay and Tama Tonga. They weren't bad in the beginning, not good stuff, what you'd expect from two decent wrestlers. That went on for a little while. I think Bronson came in, then Jimmy came in to even the odds, and it was that's one thing I enjoyed. I enjoyed seeing the Usos work together like the Usos, because we didn't see that too much in the six-way tag, but we saw it here. A lot of Usos action throughout the match, and I enjoyed that a lot because I do miss the Usos. Arguably the best tag team of all time, especially in WWE. Arguably. Let me know down below. Are they the best tag team of all time? I don't know. So that carries on. Jacob Fatu then comes in. Oh, speaking of Jacob Fatu, Solo stops Tama Tonga. Jacob Fatu then goes in. That's one thing. Jacob Fatu then absolutely dominates. We then get a moment after Sami Zayn has come in. Oh no, I lie. We then get a moment where Punk is set to come in. Roman stops Punk. Sami Zayn goes in. Ooh, tension. They then stand side by side like two young adults with sexual tension that don't want to talk to each other, and yeah, it was very awkward, Roman and Punk. But anyway, we move on from that. Eventually, when it's time for one of them to come in, Roman's about to walk out, but Punk shoves him out the way and gets into the ring. He then gets out the toolbox and starts beating up on everybody. Good stuff. Eventually, everyone's in the ring. Match starts. And we see a little bit of dissension between Roman and Punk, but it didn't really get in the way too much. Eventually, though, what happens is Roman's on the table. Bronson goes to the very, very top of the cage looking for Tsunami. And who saves Roman off the table? CM Punk. So even after all of this, Punk still saves him. Bronson goes through the table from the top. Nasty, nasty, nasty bump. And from that moment, it's basically Bloodline, OG Bloodline plus Punk just dominating. Fatu missed a dive of some sort. Now, I don't know if this was intentional or not. I'm going to assume it was not intentional. And what he did is what I've seen him do in the past, because let's be honest, these moves don't always go off he sells his leg. Okay, and I've seen him do it in MLW. He sells his leg, and he sells it damn good, and makes you think that this guy really just tears ACL. So anyway, he sold his leg for the rest of the match, but he got put through a table by Jimmy Uso, who went right up to the top. Uso splashed through the table, and then all of the OG Bloodline met up with Punk, and they took out Solo Sikoa and started off with super kicks, double super kick by the Usos, haluva kick by Sami Zayn, into a GTS by Punk, into a spear by Roman Reigns. 1, 2, 3, and the OG Bloodline gets the win, just like we predicted. But I really, really, really enjoyed this match because there was drama, there was that cinema, there was technical, or not technical, there was good old-fashioned basic wrestling with good ring psychology. Except for one thing, I do think they could have pinned Fatu after the big splash, but I guess they wanted to get it solo, so there's kind of a little bit of a loophole there, which I'm cool with. But at the moment, I was like, just pin him. You don't need to all gang up now on someone. Just pin him. But I kind of understand it. All in all, great stuff. Now we just got to find out what the favor is from Paul Heyman to CM Punk, or what it will be. We don't know yet. We'll find out in due time, I guess. But overall, I think I was a bit harsh on the show in the beginning. There was just one underwhelming match, one basically SmackDown match, but the shock of Shinsuke winning turned that match into a good result. And then the rest were the last 3 matches were very good, excellent matches. So that's my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a bit of a long review. It is 5 o'clock on the dot right now. So with that being said, we'll see you guys next time, and take care. Peace.